Hey all, we're going to do another one of the lessons where we pick a song and learn it from scratch, hopefully in 10 minutes or so. And this is one that I've had a few requests for since the record came out, the new McCartney record. I think it's actually called New. And it's an acoustic one called Early Days. And I have this guitar in standard tuning, standard pitch. There's a chance on this that Paul is playing tuned down a little bit. Like he sometimes would play, he'd tune all the strings down, E goes down to D, everything goes down, still same intervals but down, lower. And then play something with G fingers but sounds, F. Like Yesterday is like that, Bluebird is like that. There are a bunch of them like that he does. But so what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this and see what key it's in, see what we got to do. I don't think it's in an altered tuning because I can't think of an example where he used one. So let me just listen to it and see what we hear for a second. It's called Early Days. I hope. Alright, so we're a few seconds in, and we know a few things. One, it's in standard tuning, and it's in standard pitch, and it's in D. So the first thing, of course, you hear is... So you hear that going. And so when you hear the open D string to start it, it's a pretty good guess. And knowing McCartney like we know McCartney, him doing an acoustic song in D is not a surprise. So he would either use D or G. Those are the ones he tended to favor. Sometimes A, like Mull of Kintyre, or A minor 7 for Bluebird. But this one's D. So we know already that the main sort of riff is this. And that's just, you can hear that string going throughout all of that. You can hear that note, you can hear the high E at the 2nd fret, you can hear the B string at the 3rd fret, a D note. Now it's possible he's doing this. And covering, doing the D, and then in addition to a regular D, covering the D string at the 2nd fret to do that walk up. But actually when he does that second one, you can hear the G open in there. So he's doing a D chord, and then he takes his index finger, goes to the D at the 2nd fret to start walking it up, keeps everything else the way it is, and now the G string's open because you moved your pointer finger off it. So now the D string, it has to go up to the 4th fret. So now when he does that chord, he's back to a D, full D with all of the, the normal strings covered. And now the D string's at the 4th fret. So he's doing a walk up. And actually this one's a little bit unusual because normally he would do... Right. And do it with the pluck a string and then do a little strum. But this one distinctly to me sounds like he's actually using a pick. Now the picking of it, and this is another way you can tell it's actually Paul playing it and not one of the guys in the band, is that when he does that last chord, which is a G, but he's only playing the upper end of it, but he does it a little bit sloppy, so it sounds like he's going, and instead of doing a clean G note, G string, and then the D and the B and the E covered at the 3rd fret for that G, he actually is still hitting It sounded like to me anyway. Still hitting the D string. So a little bit of sloppy picking on that, but it gets the effect across, you know. Right. So let's play a little bit more. The vocal starts here, and we'll see where it goes.
They can't take it from me if they try. I lived through those early days. So many times I had to change the pain to laughter just to keep from getting praised. Dressed in black.
Okay, then it starts over back at the beginning. So you have a bunch of those walk-ups, which we've done, you know, same as the intro. And then it goes into the song proper where the vocal starts. And then after he does the sort of the first verse, then it goes to A, G, so D, A, G, D, and that starts over with the second verse. And again, if knowing what we know about Paul's songwriting, especially on the acoustic guitar, these are chords that shouldn't surprise us. D, A, G, back to D. That's very typical of his writing. So let's keep it going a little bit.
Head to toe, two guitars across our backs. We were both the same road, seeking someone who would listen to the music we were writing down home. They can't take it from me if they try.
Okay, no surprises in there. After doing a bunch of these again for the next verse. Back to A, back to G, back to D, and then it goes to G, back to D, then to A. And then it sounds like it starts over again, but I'm going to go back about 30 seconds and we'll replay that part where it goes into that little G. Back into that again.
Always come to you when you look for them, and your inspiration on the late nights may come to you time and again.
Now for those GA, the GAD segments in there, that's just a question of listening to this a couple more times and getting the order of them. But those are, so far, those are the only three chords. And I'll bet, I mean, it's 4 minutes and 14 on this little video that I'm watching. And we're at 3:03, so there's a minute and 10, or a minute and 11 left. And I'm going to guess that there are no other chords in it, and it's going to be more of this. So let's go just for a little while longer. But I don't suspect we'll get any surprises at this point.
Seems to have their own opinion. Who did this and who did that?
All right, there's one little surprise in there, and that is, it sounds like during some of these, toward the end, he's doing exactly the same walk-ups, exactly the same thing, you know, except on some of these he's leaving the E string, the high E string, open. So some of them, maybe just for variety's sake, I don't know. But on some of those chords, and again, it's just a matter of listening to it if you want to get it perfectly. It's just a matter of listening to it a couple more times and getting when does he do that? When does he leave the E open? When he doesn't? But it seems like those come later on toward the end of the tune. And earlier on, he's just doing straight D, you know, doing it like you'd normally do it. But listen to just a little bit more of it.
But as for me, I don't see how they can remember when they were where was that. We can't take it from me if they try. 'Cause I live through those early days. So many times I had to change the things in my life just to keep from getting praised. I lived through those early days. I lived through those early days.
So that was it. It's all just D, A, and G, and you can see, you know, that's a 4-minute song, and it covers a lot of ground considering there's only those three chords, right? And again, that's what makes Paul brilliant. But that's a fairly we really, again, apart from listening to it a couple more times and getting when the changes come in and memorizing the actual structure of it. When does it go into the chorus? When does it do this? But we have all the pieces of it, you know. It's a straight, it's in D. In terms of the strum, you're plucking. So you can see there's a lot of upstroke on it. And the chords, except for when it goes... Well, except when it goes to those, you really are, most of it's done on the top, the highest 4 strings. But another fairly intuitive chord progression. Not 1-4-5 necessarily, but those are the 1-4-5 chords anyway. And he just played around with you know, a different sort of format for 1-4-5. So anyway, that's another one, and this is, trust me, nothing you can't do. When you hear that first note, I'll play it back, at the very beginning of it, you know, I mean, that will, once you start listening for those things, that'll leap out in your mind. It's obviously in D. It goes to a G at the end. When you listen to enough pop songs, you'll hear that right off the top, and basically, you know, it is another one of those. Once you get okay, it's in D. Once you get that, which is pretty obvious, there's really no learning involved in terms of how to play it. It's just a question of how it's structured. Oh yeah, when does it go to D? Which verse does that? You know, for me, learning these songs by ear and posting, that's the challenge. Is actually memorizing the structure of them. Figuring out how to play them is actually not all that difficult once you listen to enough music and spend enough time with your guitar in your lap. Like on a day like today, it's 5:45, and I got another hour and a half before we eat dinner, and I got the news on, the Olympics and stuff are on, but I wouldn't just sit there and watch TV. I would have a guitar in my lap, and it's not necessarily any more productive than just watching TV, but at least you feel like you're getting something done on your skills, right? So good luck with that one. This was more of a demonstration on how to learn than it is a demonstration on how to play this particular song. But going through what we've gone through, I don't think you'll have any trouble picking this one up if you just sit down and listen to it. So good luck.